ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, one and all, to a brand new edition of the Quinn Spinn. I'm your host, the Quinn. At least that's how I'm known here on the program, and I'm back here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and more for another rousing and riveting installment of the official podcast of Underground Music Collective. You just heard Revel 9's All I've Become at the top of the show. That has been our opening theme song here at the Quinn Spinn since the great year of 2014, and it will be until the very end of days. And in a couple weeks, I will be in Cookstown, Ontario, Canada, for Gussapolooza 2024. This is an independent festival for emerging artists and creatives, and I have Russ Robson, the founder of Gussapolooza and the indie distributor, on the show today to talk about the festival, plans for the future, and how it connects the dots between all of us creatives out here making the thing happen. So I'm going to take you right to the conversation right now. All right, everyone. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we have a very exciting opportunity in just a couple weeks. We're going up to Canada for the first time ever for Gussapolooza 2024, an independent music and arts festival that also features seminars and networking opportunities for independent artists. And I am on the line with the founder of Gussapolooza, Russ Robson, who is going to share all about it with us. He's holding the poster up. Russ, thank you so much for joining us today on the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Gerard. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you, and very excited to come up there in just a couple weeks. Of course, we released this on August the 30th, 2 weeks before the event kicks off up there in Cookstown, Ontario, Canada. But before we get into everything we need to know, I want to ask you the three standard questions. Those three questions are: who are you? What are your passions? And why on earth would you want to come on the Quinn Spinn?
Oh, great initial questions. Well, my name's Russ Robson, and first of all, I guess I'm a dreamer. I'm a husband, a father, a singer-songwriter, and recording artist, and I'm also the founder of Gussapolooza Music Festival and the indie distributor. And yeah, I mean, I'm very passionate about music and about creating opportunity. I love life, and I like I said, I love to create opportunities for others. It's something that really kind of drives me, and something I'm quite passionate about. So, and to be on the Quinn show is just a great opportunity. Quinn Spinn is just a great opportunity because I love what you do and what you're doing in the space. So it's just great to be here.
Likewise, and I'm really excited, like I said, to come up there. You know, we first got on a call a couple months ago to talk about Gussapolooza and what working together would look like on this. And it's so exciting to see something that's grown from a grassroots initiative, which we're going to get into this multifaceted experience for independent artists and adjacent creative entrepreneurs as well. But before we get into that, I want to learn a little more about you, Russ, and I want to learn as far back as you want to go, perhaps even all the way to the beginning. I want to learn about the people, the places, experiences, of course, the artists and musicians that inspired your creative path and put you on this journey.
Well, I mean, I was mostly inspired by my father, who was just a massive lover of music, and started at an early age. He put a guitar in my hand and introduced me to art and creativity. So definitely he was one of the most inspirational people in my life when it comes to my career choices. He would play everything in the house from, Doc Watson to the Kinks to the Rolling Stones to Frank Sinatra. So I always had just an amazing wall of sound in my early days, and we traveled a lot when I was younger. So it kind of led me to love traveling and experiencing life on the road, which really kind of led into my later years as a traveling musician. Where I got to meet lots of people and lots of interesting folks on the road. And in turn, that opened my eyes up to music festivals and how I got to be here today. Some of my favorite artists in the world, one that it really stands out is probably Willie Nelson, because he's had such an amazing career. And, he was somebody who could do everything. He did festivals, and he made amazing music, and he had his life and family on the road with him. So I always kind of looked up to that.
And so getting into the Gussapolooza story, So this is something that started, very grassroots, early on. I want to give you the opportunity, of course, to take us through how this started and what made you feel called to create this experience.
Absolutely. So, like I was saying, just being on the road for so many years as a emerging artist myself, and going from different cities and different towns across the U.S. and Canada, I met so many amazing people, so many amazing artists who were just who had left their hometowns, small town USA, small town Canada, to pursue their dreams in other places and find opportunity. And it was always such an amazing thing to me because I was also looking for the same thing. And I think it just kind of led into, the life of going to festivals, meeting these folks, and kind of realizing that there's not enough being done for emerging artists. And so it was such an amazing thing because when I spent a lot of time in LA. And when I was down there, I met a lot of comedians because the open mics in LA were quite different from open mics in other cities. And I always found open mics were the best thing to go to meet other artists in that community. If you're just kind of a new person starting out in a city, it was a great place to meet friends. And what I noticed about LA, especially West Hollywood, was there was a lot of comedians at the open mics. And they were looking for opportunity in Montreal Just for Laughs Comedy Festival, which I always thought was an amazing thing because it was almost like the artists were passing each other on the highway, so to speak. So I thought it was so interesting how a festival could offer just as much opportunity as a music festival or as a city, sorry. And that really kind of, I guess it began the wheel spinning at a certain time. And so, yeah, little by little, it all kind of came together when we decided to do the festival.
And so this has started, again, from humble beginnings to grow into, this multi-day camping festival. There are seminars, there are all sorts of opportunities to engage with a variety of art, not just music, but also visual art. And anybody creative, anybody who's creating something has something to get from the experience. And to produce an event of this magnitude obviously takes a lot of work. It obviously takes some trial and error. You learn lessons along the way. Was there anything in the process over the years that, maybe you weren't expecting, that surprised you, that challenged you, that ultimately helped you grow into a better organizer, that helped Gussapolooza become what it is today?
Absolutely. I mean, everything kind of goes into it. You learn lessons along the way. You know, back to the question before, I guess, how the festival really kind of got started. We kind of threw a party. This whole thing, like you said, grassroots, it started off as a backyard jam for a couple traveling bands after a really good, festival season. We had all toured across Canada and came back to the Toronto area. And I had moved back to Toronto from LA and, decided to throw this party. And we had so many, we put an open call out on Facebook and we had so many bands reach out to us. They wanted to come and play, and a one-day event turned into about a 3-day event, and that was kind of the moment where we said, "Oh, this is special. This is different," and that's really where Gussapolooza got its legs, and the name came from. We had an inside joke growing up that if we didn't quite know your name or, we were talking about you but couldn't remember your name, then we called you Gus. And, hey, if there was a sound tech or somebody was missing, we say, oh, hey, where's Gus? Get him back here. So when all these folks showed up for the party, we thought a great name was Gussapolooza. And we kept it because we thought it was a great name for, a showcase about emerging artists. But from the initial start, right after that weekend, I had so many artists, get back to me and say, "Hey, please keep on going with this event. This is so special for us. There's nothing like this in the area that's dedicated to emerging artists." And we weren't quite serious with it at that point. And when people started really telling me that, it really, everything else from my background kind of kicked in. And I said, how can we make this the most opportunistic event that we can do. We don't want to do another festival. We want to do something that offers artists an actual opportunity. And how can we do that? And so from our humble beginnings on, a stage made out of a pickup truck and some shelving units, fast forward to today, we offer, 2 mobile stages. We do seminars, we do conventions, we have an art fair, and we try to offer as many opportunities as possible. And that all came in the process of putting it on every time. So to your last question, it just kept on growing so naturally because every time we opened up our arms to other artists, they would say, hey, maybe we can do this or maybe we can do that. So it was almost like an open canvas of people's suggestions who wanted to also see more opportunities for other artists. And it kind of grew itself. And after putting it on, we're learning the lessons. We started off with no permits. That's how our humble beginnings were. Now, it's a massive operation to put the event on, but it also still has its roots in just being a showcase where people can come out and artists can really get in front of some important people to showcase their original works of art. And I just think it's so important that they can have that opportunity to do so.
Yeah, and I think it's super important when you consider that in most markets across the US, and I'm sure Canada as well, like a lot of like the music scenes, the bar scenes, like really cater to like covers. I know that's the case in the US. Even here in Nashville, you go to Broadway and you'll rarely hear an original song, right? So to have the opportunity for the artist to present their original work in front of a large audience and have that reverberate, as people go back to wherever they came to Gussapolooza from, and to build those networks and those pipelines out to other markets is super, super important, because it's our responsibility as creatives to build our own industry. If we want to maintain our artistic integrity and we want to build the platform that we envision, then it's up to us. It's up to us to function as creative entrepreneurs. And with that too, in addition to the opportunity artists have to perform, they also have the opportunity to learn. And I definitely want to touch on the seminars portion. First, selfishly, because I am presenting one Sunday, September 15th, 11 a.m. I'm doing the Perfect Your Pitch seminar, but also you have a bunch of other industry leaders presenting on a variety of topics. So take us through that a little bit.
Absolutely. I'd like to touch on the audience as well, because that's such a massive part of this festival. As an artist myself, I've opened up for some big artists, and I've got to play in front of a lot of people. And what I noticed was if those people aren't there to see you, they might not really care. It's always great to have that opportunity, but it's always better to be able to play your original music in front of people who are there to hear you and there to experiencing you. And I think that's something great that we do at the festival is we try to get out people like yourself. A lot of interesting folks come out to the event, and they're there to see original music. They're there to see people they do not know. And I think that's just one of the most important things we can do, because the crowd at Gussapolooza is one of the most important things about the whole festival. If it wasn't for the right people coming to the event, we would have nothing. So it's just an extremely a thing that we're so proud of, to have such amazing people come out who want to come out and see new art and experience music and support artists. And it's all part of, like you said, that foundation of community. And that's what Gussapolooza is really about, is connecting that community across borders, across continents, and finding all the right people to be part of it. Foundation starts, it's a scene, and we're all part of this scene. We might do different things. Some of us might be videographers. Some of us might be journalists, or have publications, or manage bands, or have a service that we provide to artists, or a product that emerging artists need to see. And it's all of those people that come together that make that foundation to bolster our artists up to the next level. And our seminars are such a big part of that as well. So Gussapolooza is not just about discovering new music. It's also about it's also about coming out and building your brand as a band. So if you're an artist, or if you're in the music scene whatsoever, in the entertainment scene, it's a great place to come and network. It's a great place to meet other artists and find yourself on the road. Who knows? Find yourself with a band from the West Coast or the East Coast, or discover a new record label or somebody who you can add to your team and build. And that leads us into the seminars, was such an important part of the festival, is to have these seminars that can teach artists, emerging artists, up and coming artists, hey, you can do this for a living. There is a structure here, and if you follow it and you listen to the right people, you will have a great career. And I think just giving that tool to emerging artists and letting them know that, hey, you are a business and this is possible. So at the festival, we try to do two really big things. We try to equip emerging artists with all the tools they need to succeed. And then we also try to get them in front of the right people. So as an emerging artist myself, I didn't have those opportunities all the time. And I really thought, hey, how cool would it be that I could just go to one place, build a team, and, meet all the right people, and leave the event way better than I was before. And it's also interesting too, because it's got the Woodstock type of feel to it, where it's a 3-day camp out. So, you're not just going to a convention and shaking hands. You're sitting there, you're meeting people, your real connections are made. You get to sit around a bonfire, you get to talk to people, and you make lifelong connections at a place like that, which is so much more important than, taking something just at face value.
Yeah, it sounds like such a beautiful experience, and I'm already excited for it. This is, again, the first one that I'm going to have a chance to attend. And like the sense of community that you're fostering, and fostering across different disciplines, it's not, artists versus the industry, it's artists and the industry, and all these things coming together, all these people with all their different perspectives. And that's where true collaboration, connection, team building comes from, right? And of course, the audience being such an important part of that, like you said, because what is music without fans to listen to it, without fans to share it, people to attend the shows? So really, it's serving everybody within this ecosystem. And I can't wait to experience it for myself. Like, this sounds amazing, and that's one of the things, like, when we first got in touch, I was like really excited about something, so grassroots, so built from a community, to have ascended already to the level that it has, and to see where it's going is really exciting, as somebody who's been in the game for a while too. It's such an accomplishment to put something like this together and to continue it over years. And especially considering, we had that little pandemic thing a few years ago kind of mess a lot of stuff up. Like the fact that, Gussapolooza here in 2024 is not only still going, but it keeps getting stronger, is a testament to your commitment. So it's amazing to hear about all of this, and I can't wait to see it in a couple of weeks.
Well, we can't wait to have you. And like I've told you before in our conversations, I think what's the most beautiful thing about this festival is we are an open canvas, and we just seem to meet the most brilliant people who see the same things that we see, who know that there's more that needs to get done, and that, just like you said, it's up to us to create our own scene. It's just a beautiful thing to be a part of, and we're always touched by how many great comments we get from the bands, after the festival, or the connections that are made, and we're always looking to grow that network and build our community. And it's just I can't imagine doing anything else with my time. It's just it's an amazing thing to be a part of.
So looking toward the future now, what is your vision for the future of Gussapolooza, and where do you see the steps you've taken leading, next year, the next couple of years, the next 5-10 years? Like, where do you see Gussapolooza standing within this greater festival ecosystem, this greater industry ecosystem in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always one foot in the future, one foot in the present, and I try to stay out of the past. But you need all three. And I spend time just dreaming about what this festival can do. more opportunity is always our number one thing. So how do we create more opportunity for all artists, not just musicians, but visual artists and content creators and filmmakers? Because at the end of the day, everybody in the scene is an artist. We're all creating something. We're all doing something magical, whether you're a Hunter S. Thompson writer, rolling around with the Rolling Stone. There's all sorts of creativity to be had. And I think, how do we capture all that creativity, bring it together, and create, not only just build the scene around where we are here near Toronto, but build our own scene that connects to right across the board. How do we bring all those folks together for a weekend and then spread back out, and all of us work towards the same goals in different areas and still get connected? And in doing so, connect all of our scenes together. So that's one of the biggest goals of the festival, is that connection. The other one is, obviously, how do we bring in more stages? How do we bring in more artists? How do we grow, but yet keep the vibe and the cohesiveness and consciousness, I guess, of the original idea of the festival, which is, a showcase, still keeping true to our foundation and our mandate, which is to help artists, but really get the right folks to come out and take part in what we're doing, and allow them to experience it, and I think, just as we grow, we want to grow right. We want to grow well. And it's not about how big we get, but how purposeful we get.
Mm-hmm. And it's the culture behind that sets the tone, right? The people who build this festival from the ground up ultimately set that tone. And you've done a remarkable job of doing that. And like you said, it not only reverberates up there, in the greater Toronto area, but also to other markets. You have a connection to Nashville now, and you probably had other ones before. You've got connections to all these different markets across the US, across Canada, and perhaps other places where the like-minded people are coming together. And it's this focus on the rising tide, raising all boats. And what can we create, and how can we make this a more fair and equitable industry for everybody in it? And that's what's so inspiring to me about this festival and about this project. And the fact is, it's part of a bigger project, the indie distributor. So tell us a little bit about how Gussapolooza ties into the indie distributor and some of the work that you're doing there.
Absolutely. So Gussapolooza is basically an initiative of the indie distributor. The indie distributor is our nonprofit, and basically what we set out to do with the nonprofit is just to create opportunities year-round for artists, smaller events. We offer all kinds of free services. So definitely check that out. If you guys are listening to this, head over to the indie distributor, and we make playlists. We try to just get artists exposure in doing whatever we can. And we're trying to fill a gap as well, to do what others who used to do not do anymore. So I think there's just, in times like this, I see nothing but potential. I see just wide open space for great people to do great things, because the fat cats at the top have just ignored it. And in doing so, they've just opened it up for everybody else. So the indie distributor going forward is just all about exactly the same thing as Gussapolooza. It's basically a full-time Gussapolooza. That's our attitude, but it's always looking to find new artists, spread news. If artists are out there and you have new singles, send us your singles so we can share. And it's always about connecting community as well. So yeah, the indie is definitely the heart and soul of Gussapolooza as well.
And I think it's important to note too that, to that point, there's more opportunity than ever before for independent creators to create and to get the word out there. And I think for so long, I think a lot of artists have focused on, okay, how do I get signed? How do I get the big boys to notice me? And the fact is, you don't need them. You don't need them. We can create our own thing. And so having outlets like the indie distributor, having festivals like Gussapolooza, it's so important to the creation and the development of that larger ecosystem, right? Where the creators have the power, the creators have the control. We don't need a gatekeeper. We don't need, somebody to say yay or nay on whether or not we're going to be a success in our careers, right? And so super important. I encourage everybody to check out the indie distributor and of course come to Gussapolooza. If you're in the area, if you want to just come up to the area up in Cookstown, Ontario, Canada, September 13th to 15th, it's going to be a great time. I'm going to be there. Russ is going to be there. A lot of great artists and thought leaders and creatives are going to be there. And it's going to be a wonderful experience for everybody. So a couple more questions before we wrap up, Russ. First of all, one question I like to ask everybody is if there's one lesson that you've learned throughout the process of your creative journey that you would go back and teach a younger version of yourself or maybe somebody just starting out, what would that lesson be?
Oh, start Gussapolooza earlier. It's a great question. Take yourself seriously. Now in my personal experience, I had to go down a few roads to get to where I am today, but I don't think I took myself very seriously when I was younger. And I think it's important to take care of your mind and your body, take care of take care of your dreams. If you have a dream right now, it doesn't matter how old you are, it's never too late to start, but take yourself seriously. Don't waste time. And spend time with the people that matter most. Don't spend time trying to impress others that don't care or are not going to help you out in life. Really focus on where you're going, find your purpose in life as soon as possible, and spend every waking moment towards that. If you can figure that out now, you got nothing but blue skies ahead of you. And that would be my suggestion.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I could not agree more. We have to do what lights us up. That's what gets us through. So, Russ, thanks so much. Russ Robson, the founder of Gussapolooza and the indie distributor, joining us today on the Quinn Spinn. Before I let you go and I do the whole outro thing, just want to give you a chance to tell people where they can learn more about Gussapolooza and get their festival passes.
Absolutely. So you can find your tickets on our website at www.gussapolooza.com. That's GUSSAPOLOOZA.com. And everything is on our webpage. So it's a great place to go. Everything that we're doing, there's a lot of moving wheels, spinning wheels, moving parts to this festival. And it's great just to go and check out. So we're doing a convention this year as well. So anybody who's got skin in the game, come out and promote what you're doing in the space, whether you're a content creator, or podcast, or internet radio station, no matter which side of the border you're on, province you're in, state you're in. We want you to come out and network this year. You can find us on Instagram at Gussapolooza, and you can find us at the indie distributor at _the_indie_distributor on Instagram. So we're all over the place to be found. And yeah, guys, we're very excited for this year's show, and come out and join us.
I'll be there. I can't wait. I'm going to make that trip up from Nashville. It is the place to be, September 13th to 15th, Cookstown, Ontario, Canada, Gussapolooza 2024. Thanks for joining us, Russ. I'll be back to wrap it up. So there you have it. I want to thank Russ Robson of Gussapolooza and the indie distributor for coming on the show, sharing all about the festival, their plans for the future, and the ways the pipelines are being built between scenes, between markets. This is how we take it back for creatives, by creatives. I am so overjoyed to be attending Gussapolooza in a couple weeks, and I hope you will too. If you're in Canada, you can get to Canada September 13th to 15th, Georgian Bay Steam Show grounds. Make sure you're there, gussapolooza.com, GUSSAPOLOOZA.com. And this has been the Quinn Spinn, 2 N's and Quinn, 2 N's and Spin. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and more. Also on the socials at Quinn Spinn Official on Instagram and Threads. The Quinn Spinn, again, 2 N's in each word, on Facebook and TikTok. UMCNashville.com is our central hub for all things independent music, creativity, community, and more. You can also find us at UMC Nashville on most of the socials. It's UMC Worldwide on Facebook. At Nash Live shows, we have a Nash Live experience coming. The Next to Rise series debuting at Flavor 90s Bar on Demumbrian Street here in Nashville. We have Floater, Arrayus, Julia Kahn joining us. $10 gets you in. Wednesday, September 11th, 7 p.m. doors, 8 p.m. show. And if you want to follow me for information on all that and the occasional fitness thirst trap, at Gerard Longo 12. Revel 9's all become. Going to take us out like it brought us in. Grab some muffins on the way out.